Doomtown Reloaded is a constructible card game for 2 or more players who fight to gain dominance over the town of Gomorrah. The first player to gain more control than any other player has influence wins. A game takes 30 to 60 minutes. To start, each player selects a deck. The core box comes with 2 pre-made decks, but players will usually construct their own. Place your faction card on the home space on your guide board. This starts your faction side of the street. Each home card tells the player how much Ghost Rock they start with, how much Ghost Rock they'll gain each turn, and what their faction's special ability is. Before the game starts, players choose up to 5 dudes in their deck to start in play. Each dude has 5 key pieces of information that players should notice: their bullet, their influence, any special abilities, their upkeep, and their cost. A dude's cost says how much Ghost Rock you must pay to bring the dude into play. The dude's upkeep says how much you must pay each turn to keep the dude in play. If you can't or don't pay a dude's upkeep, you must send them to your discard pile. A dude's influence, the red chip, is what you use to oppose an opponent's control, blue chips. A dude's bullet color and rating tells you how effective they are in a gunfight, which we'll cover in more detail in our Doomtown shootout video. Once players have selected their starting dudes, they shuffle their decks, draw a 5-card play hand, and enter the gamblin' phase. During this phase, each player gambles 1 Ghost Rock, sets aside his play hand, and draws 5 cards off the top of his deck for a hand of lowball poker. The player with the lowest poker hand wins the phase, taking the Ghost Rock and the first action during the noon phase. After the gambling phase, players enter the upkeep phase, where they collect any money their properties give them and pay their dude's upkeep costs. Then you move on to the noon phase, which is the heart of the game. During the noon phase, players alternate taking 1 action at a time. You can use these actions to move a dude from one location to another, bring a new dude into play at your home, perform a job, or buy equipment or a location. When you buy a location, you pay its cost in Ghost Rock and add it to your side of the street. Locations are considered adjacent to those next to them, including the town square. If you buy an out-of-town location, move it off to the side. Out-of-town locations are not adjacent to any other locations, even each other. Locations give you 2 primary things: control points, which you need to win the game, and money, which you need to pay your posse. So long as a location is on your side of the table and no other player has more influence there than you do, you control it. You can gain control of other players' locations and their control points by moving your dudes to them. Dudes can also perform jobs, which mark a dude or a location and create a specific effect. You may block another player's job, which will cause a shootout. You can also cause a shootout by having one of your dudes call out another dude at their location. We'll cover how shootouts work in another video. After all players pass during the noon phase, move on to the sundown phase. During this phase, check each player's influence and control points, red chips and blue chips respectively. If any player has more blue chips and any other player has red chips, the game ends and that player wins. In any other case, the game continues for another turn. If the game continues, each player may discard 1 card and then draw back up to their full hand size of 5 cards. Then, the next turn begins. The game continues this way until 1 player controls Gomorrah. This has been a Clever Move Quick Play. For more board game information, news, and fun, visit clevermovegames.com.